This tutorial is to show you how to use an image from the net, a black and white image from the net that's in a format of a raster, pixelated image, and we're going to convert that into something that is vectorized that we can use in Creo. Okay, what we need to do is we need to find an image. Now I've got some images on the desktop at the moment, and I'm going to grab one of the robots that I've used here, so I'm going to grab robot 2. If I use Control plus, I can zoom in on him. Pretty happy, like I've got a fairly clear run right through here. It's very pixely. What I might do first is just enlarge the image a little bit. So I'm going to go from pixels to percentage. I'm going to go 200%. I'm going to go Control minus to shrink him down a bit. Now what I'm after, if I'm going to use this image for something I'm going to use on the CNC, first of all I can't have any internal cutouts, because if I'm going to injection mold this shape, there's a few problems with this image. First one is internal details. So internal here, the visor, anything internal to this is not going to work. So what I'm going to use, I'm going to use the pencil tool. If you pull out the menu, the pencil tool is here. Obviously it's way too big for what I want. I'm going to go Control plus. I'm going to zoom in a bit so I can get a bit finer detail. And I'm going to reduce the brush down by that slide bar to something I'm happy with. So I'm happy with that. Click on that again. I've got two colors here. I'm after black. Just straight out black. And white. So I'm going to flick it. If you flick the arrow, you can flick between the two. And what I'm going to do, I'm not worried about internal detail, but I am worried about a profile all the way around. So if you have a look at what I'm going to do here, I'm going to close him up. There. There. Get as even as we can. I'm going to close. I'm not worried about cutting into the shield here. I'm going to put one there. I'm going to join his arm up. I'm going to join his hip up. So I'm covering up all the gaps I can find. Okay, so that one to there. There. I'm going to zoom down on his feet. Might leave a little chop out of the side there, just something to add a little bit of interest. And you'll see in a moment what I'm going to do. One of the other areas, his little skinny legs, they're not going to work at all if I'm going to do this. So I'm going to create much chunkier legs. And see if I can neaten those up a little bit so they look very even. Probably won't matter a bit. We can clean these up a little bit more later. I'm going to add maybe a bit more kneecap on him. Definitely not going to work with these arms, so let's just add a bit of beef to his arms. Maybe add a little bit more joint size. You know, if you wanted to, you could just block these in quickly, but there's a way we can do that very fast in a minute. Block his arm there. Take it down there, put a bit more joint area in there. A bit more joint area there. You can do it by just clicking. Maybe a little bit more beef in his shoulders up here. And I probably might get rid of that, I think. Okay, so there we've got, I've made him a little bit more stronger, but he looks a bit weird at the top here. Now let's just show what we're going to do. I'm going to go Control minus. I'm going to pick the magic wand tool, which is inside of here. That's the one you want. And it normally defaults to 32, so just leave it on 32. Click on the outside space. He's traced all the way around the outside. Might be a little bit worried about those claws, so I'm just going to go Control Z, undo that. I'm going to zoom in on just that bit there. Yeah, as I zoom in, I can probably go back to my brush tool. I want to decrease that a bit. And I'm going to draw that across to there. That one across to there. So that it's not quite as fragile. To there, and you'll see in a minute all these jagged lines. We're going to get rid of those. So Control minus, bring him down in size, magic wand, click on there. If I use the black tool now, I'm going to colour in this area. I want to colour him in fully black. So if we go select, inverse, it's on black, happy with that. I'm going to increase the tool size, so I'm going to go to brush. I'm going to beef that up a bit. And you notice now I can just run over the whole image. It's not going to do anything to the white outside. I want all that image nice and... Okay, it's all jet black. Turn off, deselect. And there we have our chunky looking robot. Now I'm going to save him as a JPEG. So I'm going to go save as. Into the same folder, I'll go robot-cnc. It's as a JPEG, that's fine. Make sure it's at its maximum resolution. Okay, now I can close that now. I'm going to open up Adobe Illustrator. I'm going to open up that robot file. It's in my laser file. It's down in robot.cnc. There he is just there. Double click. Okay, now to get this into something that I can use in Creo, it's a very simple process. Click on him so I have a blue frame around him. Go Object, Image Trace, Make. You notice all the edges have cleaned up straight away, so he's been taken from a raster image into a vectorized image. I need to do this one process, otherwise it won't work. Click on the panel at the top there, click on the Advanced button, and tick the Ignore White. What that does, when we trace him, vectorize him, it'll vectorize two things, the black to white vector and the white to black vector. We're going to turn off the white one. Close that dialog box. Expand him. There's the trace line around the outside. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm going to go Save As. I don't want that, I want an AI file. I'm going to put that on the desktop so I know where it is. I'm going to just leave it as robot-cnc. I go yes. Here's where you need to turn some things off. I don't want any options to do with PDF. So you just tick those two boxes and deselect them. Click OK. I can now close Adobe Illustrator. I'm going to open up Creo. Okay, maximize it. I'm going to set my working directory. Now I've got a working directory on here, which is where my die plate is. So let's go and find my die plate. It's in my 13 Markbook 9 Tech Cam, and it's in this section here. So was Pro E, it's now Creo. So die plates are in there. I'm going to go OK. I'm going to open the acrylic die plate, not the stock. I want the die plate open. There we go. And I'm going to take my robot out of that. So I'm going to place it. Double click, so you click once, move your mouse, click again, highlights that, you go Sketch. I'm going to bring the robot in. So if I go File, Systems, Desktop, there he is just there. It's saying there's a lot of dimensions all over him, so don't worry about that, proceed with it. You get a plus sign. If you don't see the plus sign, you didn't deselect the two boxes when you saved it. Okay, now he's pretty little. I don't want him that size and I don't want him that way. I want him across this sheet, so I'm going to grab the arrow and I'm going to rotate him around. Now I'll probably go undo on that. Undo again. If you move it once, it locks at 90 degrees. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to play around with this. I want to go 0.5, enter. If you click on the little cross there, you can drag him down into space. I don't want things to cut out over the edge, and I don't want any closer on his head than about there, so I reckon we could probably go to 0.7 on this. Let's just see how that fits in. Yeah, I think that fits pretty good. You know, I'm looking at the gap just here. I might move him up a little bit. He's probably borderline the gap there and there. I might bring him down to 0.65. Again, move him around. Make sure I'm happy with his positioning. That looks good. I can now tick the box. A whole stack of dimensions are going to fly up. So forget about the dimensions. Got no interest in those. You tick the box to say you're finished with your sketch. You move the plate around a bit while it's highlighted. If you've clicked away and you lose him, just click back on the sketch. You go extrude. I want to go back through the object and I want to hit the remove material. I click yes to that and we instantly have our die plate for the CNC. Now remembering a couple of things here, if I turn him square on, so let's go to the top view, zoom in on him. The CNC, the actual cutting bit, is 3mm diameter. So 3mm diameter fits in all of these pretty good. It's not going to fit into the tip of the claw. That's going to have a slight radius in there. Slight radius in this one. External points, they're fine. Internal points, the radius of the tool is going to sit in here. But I'm happy that that's my die plate ready to go. All I've got to do is hit save. Now if it saves it, it's going to save it as the die plate. I don't want that. I want my name on it. So we go File, Save As, Save a Copy. Gives me the option down here to type a new one in. I'm going to go robot-cnc. Click Save. Click OK to that. And we're ready for the next stage. We've got our die plates ready to go. We need to get these assembled and we're going to do the machining on the CNC. So we're done.